हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती Pataye. Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om. Hari Om. So Bhagwan explained in this chapter, he described the whole world as an inverted peepal tree, which has come from him, which has come from that Supreme Brahma alone. But the expression is constantly changing, the world is constantly changing, and one who is having this ignorance identifies with the world, identifies with the gross body and the subtle body, and experiences sorrow, experiences the samsara. And as long as this ignorance remains, this jiva keeps going from one body to another. So in order to become free of this samsara, one should gain vairagya toward this world and seek that Supreme and recognize oneself as that Supreme Brahma. So Bhagwan also indicated some of his vibhutis. So Bhagwan says the brightness and luminosity which is there in the sun and which is there in the moon and the fire, it belongs to me. I alone have entered this earth and holds that earth together and support all beings. I alone am nourishing all the vanaspatis, all trees and herbs and plants. I alone am there present in the body of all beings, digesting the food. As Vishwanara, I alone digest the food remaining in the body of all beings. I am in the heart of all beings as their very self. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. And from me alone is their memory, knowledge, and also forgetfulness. All this comes from me. I am the main theme of all the Vedas. Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. I alone have to be known through the Vedas. And I alone am the one who started this sampradaya of learning and knowing this Vedas. I am the Adi Guru. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. This parampara begins with Ishvara. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam Vasishtham Shaktincha Tatputra Parasharancha. So from Narayan Bhagwan only the Guru Shishya Parampara begins. So he is the Parampara Sampradaya Karta. So Vedanta Artha Sampradaya Krat Vedavit Evacha Ham. And finally one who knows this Veda is also Ishvara alone. So when all the ignorance gets eliminated, I come to know that I am that Brahma, I am that Ishvara, I am that Brahma. So the knower of Veda is also Ishvara. So in this way, Bhagwan briefly talked about the vibhutis. Now, in the following verses, Bhagwan summarizes the very essence of the teachings of the Upanishads as well as what he has taught here in Bhagavad Gita. So that's very important portion. See, we have seen in the beginning when Arjuna was deluded in the battlefield, Bhagwan came down to the level of Arjuna's thinking and delusion, and slowly and steadily guided him toward the supreme understanding. So Bhagwan taught Arjuna that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the gross body and the subtle body, you are not this world, but you are that Atma, which is neither born nor does it die. So Bhagwan taught Arjuna in the first 6 chapters that you are not the body, you are the Atma who is expressing through this body. Okay? So recognize that Atma. Make your mind pure through Karma Yoga, Upasana, and gain that knowledge, and recognize that Atma through Dhyana. Proper meditate and recognize it. That Atma. The Kshetrajna, the Purusha. Okay? Thereafter, from the 7th chapter onwards, Bhagwan talked about himself, the Param Atma. Bhagwan says, all this is my expression, only this world is my expression. I alone, through my power of Prakriti, is expressing as this world. So I am the Paramatma with this Apara and Para Prakriti manifested, appearing like this world. So I am the Paramatma, and this world is not different from me. So first Bhagwan, in the first 6 chapters, taught Arjuna that you are the Atma, and the body and the world is different from you. Then from the 7th chapter onwards, Bhagwan taught Arjuna that I am the Paramatma, and the world is not different from me. And then in the 13th chapter, Bhagwan says that you, the Atma, and I, Paramatma, is one only. Kshetrajnam chapimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. So, from coming down to the level of Arjuna, slowly and steadily, Bhagwan taught him that supreme knowledge. See, when you have to teach a person, you have to come down to the level of that person. Otherwise, that person will not understand. Suppose you want to teach something to a child, then you have to speak the language which is understood by the child. The child may ask questions which are very subtle also, but you have to speak in the language of the child to make the child understand. The child may ask about from where it has come, how the birth has taken place. The child may ask about how it rains. The child may ask about the stars. So you have to say, twinkle, twinkle, little star. You have to say something which the child can understand and steadily raise the child. Just as when the child goes to school, primary or the nursery, the alphabets are taught using different graphics and all. A for apple and all. Okay. So similarly, Bhagwan taught Arjuna, because Arjuna, as all of us, we think that I am this body. So one who is thinking that he is the body, the knowledge has to be given that you are Brahma. But it cannot be given immediately, instantly. So slowly and steadily, the person has to be raised. Therefore, Bhagwan taught Arjuna in that language. So in the 13th chapter, Bhagavan revealed the identity of this Atma and Paramatma. That they are not different. I am not different from you, you are not different from me. And this world is not different from me. So after revealing the whole essence, now Bhagavan is conveying the truth directly from the supreme standpoint in the most beautiful way in these two verses actually, and he elaborates little bit in the other verses, but these are very beautiful verses. So let us chant verse number 16. Dvavimau purusho loke ksharaschaksara eva cha ksharas sarvani bhutani kutasthokshara uchyate. Bhagavan says that there are two Purushas. Shankaracharya ji in his commentary writes कि अथ अधुना तस्य एव क्षराक्षरः उपाधि प्रविभक्ततया निरुपाधिकस्य केवलस्य स्वरूप निर्दिधारयिष्यया उत्तर श्लोक आरभ्यन्ते. So taking the help of this upadhi, Bhagavan first explains this Purushas, and then he reveals that Nirupadik Brahma. First he talks from the language of conditioning, and then he reveals that unconditioned supreme Brahma. Okay. So Bhagavan says that there are two Purushas. Dvav imau Purushav loke. In this world there are two Purusha. Exactly what it is we will see. And Bhagavan names them Ksharaha cha Aksharaha eva cha. Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha. What is Kshara Purusha? Kshara Sarvani Bhutani. All that is born, all the beings, all that is born, all that is manifested is Kshara Purushaha. And Kutastaha, that which remains changeless, that which is eternal, that which remains same. That is called Akshara Uchyate, that is Akshara Purusha. Okay? See, the word Purusha, Purusha means one who pervades everything. So Bhagavan himself is the Purusha who pervades this entire creation. So the Kshara Purusha is also expression of Bhagavan, and Akshara Purusha is also expression of Bhagavan. Kshara Purusha is that expression which is constantly changing. Kshara means that which changes, constantly changes. And Akshara is that which doesn't change, remains same. So Kshara and Akshara Purusha. So what is Kshara Purusha? Is this entire world is called Kshara Purusha. Okay? So this classification, broad classification is done of Bhagavan's expression, Bhagavan's upadhis. So one is the manifested expression and another is the unmanifested expression. Shankaracharya ji in his commentary he writes कि द्वौ imau, these two purushas, पृथक राशि कृतौ. They are two classified into two groups. Purushau iti uchchete loke samsare, in this world. Ksharaha, kshara means ksharati iti, that which constantly changes and perishes, is called kshara. That is one group. So eko rashi apara purushaha, and other is akshara. Akshara means different from this kshara. Tad viparito bhagavato maya shakti. And what is this akshara? Is maya shakti. Bhagwan shakti, this avyakta shakti called maya, or this prakriti, that is indicated as akshara. So tad viparito bhagavato maya shakti ksharakhyasya purushasya utpatti bijam. It is the bija from which the kshara purusha is born. Therefore it is called akshara. And aneka samsari jantu kama karmadi samskara ashrayah akshara purusha uchyate. And this maya is the ashray, the support of the infinite beings, their kama and karma. The infinite beings are there. They are all having avidya, and due to avidya they have lot of kamna, and they have performed lot of karma. So the samskars of all the karma and karma is present in that maya. So maya supports the karma karma of all these infinite beings. Okay. See, this we have seen again and again in all these chapters. So it is just a revision. We have seen in the 7th chapter, Bhagwan has spoken about this while talking about this apara prakriti, bhumirapo nalo vayuhu, kam mano buddhirevacha ahankariti yamme binna prakriti rashtadha. In that, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, while explaining ahankar, he had mentioned in his bhashya कि अहंकार इति अविद्या संयुक्तम अव्यक्तम. What is अहंकार? Avidya Sanyuktam Avyaktam. This cosmic Ahankar is combination of Avyakta Prakriti of Bhagwan and Avidya of all beings. So Avidya Sanyuktam Avyaktam, Avyakta associated with Avidya is called Ahankar. But ahankar is a very negative word. Why that avyakta is called ahankar? Because it is associated with avidya. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji in his commentary further writes कि यथा विष संयुक्तम अन्नम विषम उच्यते एवं अहंकार वासनावल अव्यक्तम मूल कारणम अहंकार इति उच्यते प्रवर्तकत्वात् अहंकारस्य. Just as, let us say, there is anna. Anna means food. Food means that rice. Cooked rice is called anna. That anna, if we eat, it nourishes us. But if there is poison in that food, then the whole food, we call it poison only. We don't say this is anna and this is poison. When it is associated with poison, the whole food becomes poisonous. Similarly, Bhagwan's maya or avyakta is like anna. It nourishes us all. But association of avidya with it makes it contaminated. Then it causes lot of pain, sorrow, trouble. The trouble is caused not by Maya, but because of its association with this avidya. Okay? Therefore, it is called ahankar. Avidya sanyuktam avyaktam. Same thing Bhagavan is conveying here in this verse, that Akshara Purush. Akshara Purush is Maya, Bhagavan's Maya, which is avyakta. So it is also called avyakta. But this Maya is associated, means it contains the avidya of infinite beings. Avidya including the karma and karma of all the beings. That samskar is there in this Maya. And based on this samskar of infinite beings, the entire world gets projected as per the desires of the totality. The world gets projected to fulfill the desires of all beings. The world is projected. So that avyakta prakriti or Maya is called Akshara Purusha. Why it is called Purusha? Because Ishvara is present there. It is Ishvara Shakti only. It is not devoid of Ishvara. So it is, but it doesn't change, it remains same. It is eternal. Therefore, eternally the world gets created, sustained and dissolved. The avidya, the total avidya of all beings, they are always there, because of which the world always gets created. So this Akshara Purusha is always there. So that is called Akshara Purusha. And when that Akshara Purusha expresses as this world, is called the Kshara Purusha. When you say this world is vast, and the world is the body of all the beings. The world is the body of all the beings put together. So the whole world is the body of Vaishvanara, and all the devatas and all other beings, all put together is this world, which is constantly changing. But it is also called Purusha, because Ishvara is present in the world. World is not mithya, world is not an illusion, because Ishvara is present. Ishvara alone is expressing as this world. So the world is called Kshara Purush. And the cause of this world, the source of this world, that avyakta Maya, is called Akshara Purush. It is also called Purusha because Ishvara is present there. This is very important, because there is lot of this misunderstanding in the world regarding this Vedanta. People keep talking about mithya, but there is nothing mithya. The world is not mithya. World is Kshara Purusha, Ishvara alone. Bhagavan says, is me, Kshara Purush, and the cause of this world is Bhagavan's own Shakti. It's called Akshara Purush. Okay? So all that we see, hear, taste, touch is all Kshara Purush. It is not mithya. It cannot be called mithya. Say, for example, when you, let us say, when you see a gold ornament, The gold ornament is real. Real in the sense the gold is there in that ornament. Though it is seen in a particular shape, but it is not unreal, it is real gold. The ornament is gold only. We say it's golden ornament. It's not false. But when you see that ornament in a mirror, that ornament in the mirror is false. Why it is false? Because there is no gold in that mirror. In the ornament which is seen in the mirror, there is no gold in it. But the ornament in front is golden ornament. It is not false. And when you see that golden ornament, you cannot make it mithya. It will always remain gold only. It might change, but it will not become non-gold. Similarly, this world is always Ishvara only. It will not become non-Ishvara. It will not become non-divine. But a misunderstanding of this world which is there in our mind, if we think this world is devoid of Ishvara, that is a false notion which is there in our mind. That false notion is mithya, is false, is wrong knowledge. Okay? World is not false. If we have a wrong notion about it, that is false. Okay? So this Kshara Purush and Akshara Purush. Kshara is Sarvani Bhutani, all these beings, and all these beings means all that is manifest is Kshara Purush. And that which is unmanifest, that which always remains unmanifest, but which is the source of this entire manifested world, that which is called Maya or a Vyakta, is Akshara Purusha. So first Bhagavan talks about these two Purusha. See, here Bhagavan doesn't talk about Jivas. Here Bhagavan doesn't talk about the Atma. Here Bhagavan has classified the world itself as the Kshara and Akshara Purusha. The manifested world is Kshara Purusha and the unmanifest world is Akshara Purusha. Both he calls Purusha only because he is present. Here Bhagavan is not coming down at the level of an ignorant jiva. He speaks from that supreme standpoint because already he has taught everything to all of us. So we have graduated from our nursery class, we have come to the primary class and secondary class. So now we have reached the PhD level, so he is talking from that standpoint. Okay, look at these two Purusha first, the Kshara Purush and Akshara Purush. But please Bhagavan, I want to know you. Bhagavan says, wait, I will tell you who am I in the next verse. Very nice. If you catch it, very good. So Bhagavan says in the next verse, Uttama Purushastvanyah Paramatmityudahritah Yo Lokatrayamavishya Bibhartyavyaya Ishvaraha. Bhagavan says, I talked about these two Purusha, but there is a third Purusha. See, there are really speaking not three, only that one only is appearing like these two Purusha. But Bhagavan himself is beyond his appearance. He is that supreme Purusha, So he is calling himself the Uttama Purusha. That Brahma, that Ishvara is Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purushastvanyaha. Uttama Purusha is different. Different. That Uttama Purusha is also called Paramatma. Paramatma iti Udharataha. It's called Paramatma also. And who is that Paramatma, Uttama Purush? He says he pervades this entire world. That Uttama Purush alone pervades the Kshara Purush as well as Akshara Purush. The Kshara Purush and Akshara Purush are expression of that Uttama Purush only. So he says, Yo Lokatrayam Avishya. This Uttama Purush pervading all these three lokas. Bibharti Avyaya Ishvaraha. He exists. That eternal Ishvara. Eternal Ishvara is that changeless eternal Ishvara is that Uttama Purush who pervades this whole world, all the three worlds, and support all these three worlds. Let us read Shankaracharya's commentary and then again think. Keep on thinking till we understand. Okay? Uttamaha. Uttama means what? Utkrishtam, Shreshtam, the best. That Purusha to Anyaha is different. Different from the Kshara and Akshara. Different from Kshara Purush, Akshara Purush, but present in Kshara and Akshara. That Uttama Purush is Atyanta Vilakshanaha Abhyam, is totally unique from these two. Like when we see the gold ornaments, the ornaments are there, but gold is different from the ornament. But gold is present in the ornament. Gold is different from the ornament, but present in the ornament. Ornament is an expression of gold alone. Similarly, that Uttama Purusha is different from Kshara Purush and Akshara Purush, but Uttama Purush is present in both Kshara and Akshara Purush. So Paramatma iti is called Param Atma. Why? Paramaha cha asau dehadi avidya kritatmabhya atma. Because it is different from the Atma, which is dehadi, means this body is also called Atma. Pranas are also called Atma. Mana is also called Atma. Atma means I. But who is the supreme I? Atma means I. Supreme I is Param Atma. So who is the Param Atma? Who is beyond all this Deha, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar. Therefore it is called Param Atma, Supreme Self. So Paramatma iti Paramaha cha aso dehadi avidya krita atma atmabhya atma cha sarva bhutanam pratyak chetana iti ataha is the pratyak chetan, the innermost self. That innermost self is called Paramatma iti udarataha. It is called Paramatma by whom? By all Vedanta, by the entire Shastra, the Upanishads, the Vedas, the Puranas, all of them refer to this innermost self as Paramatma. So eva vishishyate yo lokatrayam. It pervades all the three worlds. Bhur Swaha, this world which we are experiencing, the lower world and the higher world. All these worlds are pervaded by this Atma alone, Swakiyaya Chaitanya Bala Shaktya. By its own power, it pervades all these three worlds. Avishya, having entered all these three worlds, it supports all these three worlds. Swarupa Sadbhava Matrena Vibharti Dharayati, with his own power, own existence, Bhagwan supports all these three worlds. Just as the gold supports the ornaments, the existence of the ornaments depend on gold. Similarly, the existence of all these three worlds depends on that Paramatma. So supporting all these three worlds, it remains Avyayaha, but it is eternal, unchanging. That Paramatma, that Ishvara, is unchanging. Na asya vaya vidyate iti avyayaha Ishvara sarvajnaha narayanakhyaha ishanashilaha is called Ishvara. That Narayan Bhagwan is called Ishvara because he is the ruler of all these three worlds. He rules, he governs all these three worlds. So therefore he is called Ishvara. Okay? Now let us think a little bit more. See, a lot of things I keep repeating because the important things I keep repeating. Because even after repeating, many times we miss the point and keep talking differently. Okay? So repetition of the important points is necessary so that it enters our system, we understand it properly. Now, again, the Kshara Bhagwan talks about this now three Purushas. The Kshara Purush, Akshara Purush and Uttama Purush. Kshara Purush, the whole world, manifested world, is called Kshara Purush. Kshara means that which changes. Then the Bhagwan's Avyakta Prakriti, that is Maya, that is the very source from where this whole world has come, that is called Akshara Purush. Because Ishvara is present. So Ishvara alone is called Kshara Purush. Ishvara alone is called Akshara Purush. But he is named the Kshara and Akshara Purush because of the Upadhis. But if you remove those Upadhis and see Bhagwan as he is the Uttama Purush. So the Upadhis are like the dress. Upadhis are like the makeup. So when you wear that makeup, with respect to the makeup, you are called differently. But when you remove that makeup, you are a different person. But behind that makeup also you exist, and beyond the makeup also you exist. So with respect to the changing makeup, Bhagwan is called Kshara Purush. With respect to the unchanging makeup, that is his Moola Shakti, Bhagwan is called Akshara Purush. But without all makeup, Bhagwan is the Uttama Purush. And other than Bhagwan, nothing is, no one is there. So here Bhagwan doesn't separate the Jiva and Ishvara and all. He talks about the Jiva also as Uttama Purush. The Atma also is indicated as the Uttama Purush. Now again, let us think about this from a different standpoint. See, in Sanskrit as well as in many of our Indian language and also in English, In the grammar, we talk about the three persons. In English grammar, there is this, what they call the first person, the second person, and the third person. So the first person is I, second person is you, third person is he, she, it, that. In the grammar, the one who is speaking, one who is expressing, one who is talking is called the first person. So when I say I am going, that I is the first person. Then when I am speaking to you, I say you, it's the second person. You, Then I talk about some other person, he, she, it, that's the third person. When I talk about I doesn't have any gender actually. That word I is genderless. A girl can also use it, a boy can also use it. I, no gender. When you say you, no gender. You can say you to a girl, to a boy, to man, to woman. But when you speak about the third person, you have to convey the gender. He, she, it. In Sanskrit, that first person, I, is called Uttama Purush. Second person is called Madhyama Purush. And third person is called Prathama Purush. These are the terms used in Sanskrit. So the third person is called Pratham Purush. Pratham means first. Because Sanskrit also conveys the language, the samskar and our tradition. So the person who is not present and we are talking about him or her is called Prathama Purush. He or she should not be dishonored, should be properly respected. So the third person, what we call third person in English language, is called Prathama Purush in Sanskrit. Then the second person is called Madhyama Purush. The person with whom we are interacting, communicating, is called Madhyama. And that I, Aham, is the Uttama Purush. Okay? Now very interesting. The Kshara Purush is like the Madhyama Purush, second person. We interact with the world. So it is like a Madhyam Purush. Then this Akshara Purusha is like the third person or the Prathama Purush. We call Bhagwan Shakti, Maya as Sa, as she. So it's a Prathama Purush. But I am indicated as Uttama Purush. So very interesting, this word Uttama Purush, it not only conveys that Antaratma, but also at the same time conveys that Antaratma is Paramatma. So in that word Uttama Purush is hidden the Mahavakya also. Uttama Purush, that word can be used, that name can be used for the inner self, and that same name is used for Paramatma, who is also the inner self and who is present in all. You understanding what I am saying? So Uttama Purushastvanyaha, it's a very beautiful name, Uttama Purusha. So all this, the changing phenomenal world which I see is Akshara Purush, and that changeless supreme reality is Akshara Purush. But I am that Uttama Purush. That I is that supreme Brahma, that supreme Paramatma is the Uttama Purush. Here Bhagwan doesn't leave any gap for us to misunderstand ourselves as a limited being, limited jiva, but he is directly revealing our supreme nature as that Uttama Purush, as that Paramatma, as that Brahma. Okay? So Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatma iti udarataha yo lokatrayamavishya bibhartyavya Ishvaraha. Further, Bhagwan says that this name Uttama Purush is very famous, not only in this world but in the Shastras also. He says, Yasmaksharamati toham aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vedecha pratitah purushottamaha. Bhagwan says, since Yasmaksharamatiitaha aham, since I am beyond the kshara, beyond all that is changing, beyond the changing, I am there. I am beyond this changing Kshara Purush. And I am beyond this Akshara also. So Yasmak Sharamati aham Aksharadapi cha uttamaha, superior to that Akshara. Therefore, in the world as well as in the Vedas, I am known as Purushottama. Atosmi loke vedecha pratita Purushottamaha. I am known as Purushottama. Bhagwan is giving the etymology of that name Purushottam, most beautiful name. And therefore this chapter is also called Purushottama Yoga. And as I said, that word Purushottam conveys the identity of this Atma and that Paramatma. The identity is hidden in that word, in that name itself. So Uttama Purusha is I. And that Uttama Purusha is that Purushottama, that Paramatma. So Yasmak Sharamati toham Aksharadapi cha uttamaha atosmi loke vedecha pratita Purushottamaha. So he is famous in the Vedas because the Vedas, they talk about this Purushottama only. The Vedas, they talk about the Supreme Brahma, who is named as Purushottama. Uttama Purush, the best Purush. Uttama, Supreme Purush. So if he is compared, this Purusha is compared to whom? To the Kshara Purush and Akshara Purush. But this Kshara and Akshara Purush are also expression of that same Uttama Purush only. But they are with Upadhis. So because of the Upadhis, because of the conditionings, they appear different. One appears as the effect and another appears as the cause. The Kshara Purush is the effect and Akshara Purush is the cause, but Uttama Purush is beyond both effect as well as cause. Hmm? It is beyond both cause and effect. So yasmaksharamati toham aksharaadapi cha uttamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottamaha. Therefore, in the Vedas as well as in the world, see, this Atma is not aprasiddha, is not non-famous. Everyone is aware of their own self. Everyone is aware of their own self. Only thing is, we have misunderstood ourselves. Thus, Shastras remove this misunderstanding. Shastras don't give knowledge of the self because we know the self. Shastras only remove the misunderstanding. It's like, suppose a person is having a very shining object in his hand and he thinks that it is a insignificant stone. Then the person comes who knows about it, he says it is not an ordinary stone. What you are holding in your hand is diamond, invaluable diamond. And when he comes to know that, then he understands the value of it. So he understands the value of it, what was already with him. The person doesn't give him diamond. The person only tells him that what you are having is diamond. Similarly, the Shastras are not giving us something new. The Shastras are also saying that what you are thinking about yourself is not proper. You are actually Brahma. So Shastras are giving this knowledge of Brahma to this Atma, to the Kshetrajna, to this Jiva who has got this misunderstanding. Therefore this Atma is popular, famous in the world. Everyone knows, everyone uses. In fact, in all the languages, the word I is the most popular and the most frequently used word. So in the Lokaha, it is Prasiddha. And in the Vedas also, they talk about this I, that Purushottama. So Atosmi Loke Vedecha Pratita Purushottamaha. Okay? So it's very important, very interesting. So please go through this pravachan again, contemplate, think about it, understand it properly. And then we shall meet again in our next class. The next class we will have on Monday. So tomorrow Saturday and then Sunday we will have Chutti. And we shall meet again on Monday. Then we will conclude this chapter. Thereafter then begin the 16th chapter. Okay? So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. Take care. And we shall meet again on Monday. I will give you some questions. You can ponder over those questions, think about it, contemplate and answer. Okay? Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Bole Syav Ramchandra Bhagwan Ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamayadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.